When you start researching about computer science degree, you may find hints that there is no need for it to have career in tech industry. All I gotta say is, that's a huge lie, or at least well-hidden truth, and I'm going to prove it by using science. Why does this misconception even exist? The answer is simple: money and social media. Type on YouTube, is CS degree worth, and filter by most popular. You can see this video. It has 9 million views. It's telling the story of how this man got his first job after 4 months of learning programming. But there is one huge catch. Well, he got his job in 2013. Back then, job interview must have looked like this. Hi, please take a seat. Before we start, we pay 300,000 for this job. So, what's your best project? Weather app? You're in. Oh my god, what a genius. Also, I'm not downgrading this man's achievement. It's just that job market was completely different back then and it's not comparable to nowadays. Another thing is that selling knowledge is a great business, and that's because people believe it's investment in themselves. And some resources discussing CS degree are often linked to courses or non-free learning paths. Mostly you won't find them directly in video or article, because that would be way too obvious what's happening. I honestly want to believe that these courses have decent knowledge. We just have to keep in mind that dismissing college degree is for some people financially beneficial. Now I think we should take a look at YouTube's counter examples. I really recommend checking this video. Long story short, Greenfold for You Don't Need a Degree propaganda. He even got a job in cybersecurity. But in the end, he was working in places that CS graduates don't want to get. Also, lack of degree brought him more inconvenience, like not being chosen for job despite being better qualified than other candidates. That's enough spoilering, just go watch his video. Those on having degree also shared Primetime, one of the most popular YouTuber programmer. Just take a look.
There's two main reasons why I think a CS degree is actually really good. Number one, you're going to be forced to learn things and do things that are really not that applicable, but really expand what you see is available in computer science in general. And those things that aren't applicable in the immediate, like 10 years down the line, you're going to find times you look back and go, wow, that was really valuable knowledge. This is really foundational stuff that I find very nice. And number two, the thing that I really like is that it's not efficient. It gives you 4 years to get to the point of being a good programmer. And I think that's extremely important because so many people want the 6-month path to success. I hate to tell you this, there's no 6-month path to success.
But these are all opinions of famous people about which you might not even care. So, what does science say about this? I'm going to base on OECD research named Education at Glance 2025. If you don't know what the OECD is, here's explanation. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, called OECD, is intergovernmental organization that includes 38 countries across entire world. It's mainly focused on increasing and promoting economical growth. Research Education at Glance is the authoritative source of information on the state of education worldwide. We can find there that, on average, across OECD countries, adults with a short cycle tertiary degree earn 17% more than those with upper secondary attainment. This earnings advantage rises to 39% for those with a bachelor's degree and 83% for those with a master's or a doctoral degree. I admit that average can be easily deformed by some another Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, so let's look at more accurate data median. According to the same research, 68% among workers with a tertiary degree earn more than median half. This statistic is crazy and you cannot convince me otherwise. If you bring completely random 1,000 people with uni degree, almost 700 of them will earn more than median. I honestly believe this is ultimate argument for having degree even for sake of having so. Lastly, from OECD employment rate. The same research states individuals with a short cycle tertiary qualification have an employment rate of 83% compared to 86% for those with bachelor's degree, 90% for those with a master's, and 93% for those with a doctoral or equivalent qualification. I do realize that you can find videos of people complaining that they have degree and cannot find job or they earn little. But statistics reveal what's typical. Examples aren't proof of what's happening in general. If you were cautious, you may have noticed one issue with all of that. OECD research is talking about every major, not just computer science. It includes doctors or lawyers that can easily refactor data for tech graduates. If you are interested in data made specifically for us computer nerds, I have bad news for you, because there isn't any research like OECD that summarize CS degree across multiple countries. I don't think you wanna listen to every single country comparison, so I highly recommend checking these stats on your own. Now, we should move on to another section, which is that rich people send their kids to college. this will be short, but I believe it's pretty underrated argument. Before that, if you enjoy this type of content, yes, I mean grown-ass man showing himself as anime girl and yapping about computer science, you gotta subscribe to my channel and like this video to see more. Thank you. Anyway, back to the topic. Rich people send their kids to college. And obviously they have money to do that. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter. Here's why. According to income segregation and intergenerational mobility across colleges in the United States, college attendance rates range from 32% in the bottom parent income percentile to 95% of top parent income percentile. These people will most likely go to MIT, Harvard, you know, the schools that degree from almost guarantee fame, wealth, power, and uni for average person probably won't be as good, but come on, rich people are admins of this world. They know the ball of being high educated like no one else do. We need to answer one question. What's the point of spending 3 years in college if AI is going to replace me anyway? So coding bootcamp seems more valid since it's shorter. There's one issue with this argument. AI right now seems to be unlikely to completely replace engineers. It's not my gut telling me so. According to Stack Overflow survey, almost 64% of developers believe that AI isn't a threat to their job. That's not it. On the same survey, people were asked about AI influence to their job. Above 68% of people agreed that AI increased their productivity. Developers pointed out that AI is useful when it comes to the repetitive task automation and accelerating learning about new technologies. If you're still unconvinced, don't worry, I've got more. Cause well, AI is too expensive. Few corporations started pointing this out. Biggest example is what Nvidia vice president said. For my team, the cost of compute is far beyond the cost of the employees. And yes, he said for his team, but sort of his company earns money on AI, so he might be up to something. But I believe the best proof is MIT plus IBM research summarized in article Rethinking AI's Impact, MIT CSAIL study reveals economic limits to job automation. Their research implied that only about 23% of wages paid for tasks involving vision are economically viable for AI automation. This article also theorized that if computing expenses expand, AI revolution may slow up to the point where market will get enough time to adapt. That was written 2 years ago, and it seems like they were at least at some points right. Now, here's something less optimistic for us tech guys. Anthropic's AI research from this year. It's presenting AI capabilities, both theoretical and current, in doing major tasks. When it comes to math and computers, it's covering 33%, and theoretically, AI's full potential in this field is at 94%. There is also a label stating that 76% of computer programmer tasks are exposed to be replaced by AI. This replaceability is being based on prompts sent to AI. So like, I don't know and don't want to judge if this is the best measurement methodology. Someone smarter than me explain it, please. Even if AI potentially isn't going to replace us, there's still one thing that needs to be discussed when talking about computer science degree usefulness. It's the recruitation process. Imagine you're a human resources worker. Yes, this HR that rejects you just because intuition said them so. By the way, it's good argument. You should trust your feelings. Knowledge is little. Enough to understand what your company do and to find keywords important for recruitment, but not that big. And you have to decide who are you taking just by looking at their resume. Option A. Man with degree from college. He has described some projects, but who cares? The only thing you can be sure is that this man has proof of studying required topic for 3 years. Option B. Bootcamper. He also has some proof of knowledge, but much weaker. His learning path focused mainly on one topic, which makes him good in one thing, but less versatile. Option C. Self-taught. He has no proof from any institution. At first glance, you know least about him. Hiring him from your perspective seems like gambling. If he's great, then good for you. But if choosing him is missed, then you might take some responsibility. As your goal is to hire the best, you're going to prioritize facts. Certificates and degrees are some proofs of knowledge. In the end, you decide to give a try to the man with a degree, since it's the safest option. You may think that I'm exaggerating or it's unfair, and you're right. But from HR perspective, especially if they doesn't know much about topic, this is how things look like. Recruiters, according to the ladders, take on average 7.4 seconds to analyze your resume. They are looking at some proof that you are not LARPing. Verification of your knowledge is job of senior programmer or team leader. But Before that, you need to get through HR workers. Also, corporation jobs often require a degree. In the end, you might just need it anyway. And it's not just because HR decided that. In the same Stack Overflow survey I mentioned earlier, we can find education attainment of respondents. And yeah, not going to college will make you minority among tech employees. 8.7 of asked answered that their education ended maximally on secondary school. So near 90% of survey declared that they at least attempt getting higher education. It means that having a degree is standard among workers, not something special. Not having one is standing out in negative way. Last but not least about recruitment. AI scanners. They are so broken that I'm not even going to waste time analyzing them. Many people believe that the best benefit of college is networking. If you can handle it, then yes, that's true. But in scenario where you are not the most friendly person alive, it's worth looking at others. First one. The environment itself forces you to push forward even when you don't feel like it. Feeling of having exam in week makes you do crazy stuff if you are encouraged enough. It's stressful, so it can be treated both a pro and a con, but personally that's a huge benefit. Another thing is that during CS degree you will most likely try more tech subjects than through self-learning or bootcamping. For example, during college I had opportunity to try databases, system administration, working with microcontrollers, machine learning, or even developing graphic engine. And how can you know if you were born to do something if you haven't tried it? Another one, it's not directly from uni, but to pass you have to learn how to learn. And that's one of the most important skills that you can develop in your life. Lastly, this goddamn degree. I've already presented you with data why it's worth it. I just had to say that once again. What about flows? Well, 2 words. Useless subjects. Yeah, I just said about trying things out and now this. But tell me, what was the point of me attempting history classes as a fucking computer science major? Like, it's so ridiculous, and they justify it by not having your eyes shut to one science field. That's why I went for CS degree, not everything degree. Also, if you don't enjoy math, well, you may not like it. There is some stuff that even I, who got to uni thanks to math, had to learn by heart because I couldn't understand it. Lastly, so I won't get accused of being extremely biased, I am money. You gotta spend at least 3 years studying and spending money on it. I don't even mean tuition. Gear to note, transport, time that you could have focused on earning money and getting experience. These are all costs that can be spent on your potential hustle. To have complete view on this topic, we need to discuss alternatives to degree. Let's start with bootcamps. Well, I've tried to find some data that isn't made by marketing teams and that was obtained after some silly little virus locked us for a few years. But I couldn't. I've never attended any bootcamp. It would be wise of you to assume that I might be extremely incorrect in this section. So, let's start with pros. Bootcamping is shorter. You can find some that last 3 months, even a year. But unlike college, it's not 3 years. It's more focused on hands-on skills in your chosen topic. It will very often skip so-called impractical parts like math or how computer works. Lastly, you may find employment faster by focusing on experience rather than knowledge. Now, let's discuss cons. Money. Bootcamping is cheaper than college, but it still costs something. And in Europe, where unis are, let's call it free, they are not, but you know what I mean? Bootcamping is more expensive. Finally, you end up with a certificate, not a degree. It's self-explaining. Plus, I've discussed why it's bad on recruitment process chapter. When it comes to self-studying, I've gained a lot of experience during and after college. What I can tell you is self-studying is goated. I really enjoy it being self-paced. When I don't feel like studying, then I don't. Fortunately, it requires discipline, so if you are not the best friend with it, you will end up wasting time. It's completely free, but you end up without any proof of your knowledge. Your portfolio becomes one. Sadly, many recruiters just don't care about it. Lastly, whatever you've learned through bootcamping or self-studying, you will likely have covered in college, but with reward of a degree. I'm going to leave you with that thought. I believe I've shown enough data to prove that in the end, having degree is better than not. And please, don't fall for stuff like Zuckerberg abandoned college and I can do the same and be as successful as he. I mean, you can, but he quit at Harvard. Like, his parents were rich and influential enough to send him there, or he's a pure genius. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you soon!